Hello everybody, my name is Gambit and welcome to Infamous Synergy. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everybody who is tuning in because we are getting closer and closer to that 500 subscriber goal. So please, if you like this video today, make sure to like and subscribe for any future content because every little bit helps. But aside from that, let's get right into the video. Now that it's 2024, we are almost at the 8th year anniversary of Dead by Daylight. And with another year comes a handful of new licenses. Like most people, I have my personal favorites I want to see, but you guessed it, at the top of my list is Until Dawn. So that really begs the question, what would it look like if Until Dawn came to Dead by Daylight? The first topic I really wanted to talk about is what killers could potentially come into the game. I really can't say this about every franchise, but I personally think Until Dawn has two great candidates up for the roster. The first and most obvious option is the Wendigo. Unlike a lot of killers we have been receiving lately, I think the Wendigo would be a pretty straightforward one. Now, you can't make a killer that can only sense survivors when they move, but you can make one that can be damn good at spotting them, period. Which brings us to the first part of the Wendigo's power. The Wendigo can go into a temporary state with red vision. Any survivor moving in the Wendigo's field of view gets highlighted in a white aura. The effect does not work on survivors through walls and does not work on survivors who are standing still. I do not think DBD is ready for wall hacks just yet, and I think we could probably leave that to the Predator. Currently, we do not have any killers in the game who have parkour-like abilities, so I say let the Wendigo be the first. Imagine going to Campbell's Chapel and seeing a Wendigo hanging high up on the side of the wall. If I looked up and I saw I was being watched by this long-limbed monster, I would be pretty freaked out. From any ascended position, the Wendigo can leap. Any survivor hit by this attack will be put into the damage state. The Wendigo will be able to climb on both jungle gyms and walls, but also will be able to get a good vantage point from climbing on top of pallets and vaults. The leaping would be very similar to the Hunter from Left 4 Dead, and also not letting the Wendigo leap over dropped pallets and over through vaults, and instead needing it to climb on top before it can commence to leap gives the survivor enough time to kind of act and react. We definitely don't want another Xenomorph type of scenario running around. Just imagining the Wendigo leaping and screeching as it climbs off of jungle gyms and stuff makes me really hyped for the idea. A very simple, scary, fun, and effective killer is what we could have if the Wendigo came into the game like this. But enough about the Wendigo just for now, we still have one more option to go over. Our other option is the Psycho, also known as Josh. The Psycho would certainly be an interesting choice because he's never actually killed anyone in his own game, but it would be quite cool to see if he was influenced by the entity and completely driven to madness, causing him to kill to avenge his sisters. Unlike the Wendigo, the Psycho would not be a highly mobile hunting killer. Instead, he would have to be about stalking survivors in a different way and using good timing to put them out of commission. I definitely think a camera system ability works really well for him. You can have a shed or two spawn close to the center of the map, a place where the Psycho can reside with all of his cameras. From here, really allow him to interact with the realm with a bit of entity assistance, allow him to manually mess with generator progress on a cooldown, potentially block off a window or two for a while, options to make you feel like you're really controlling the strings from behind the scenes. But when the Psycho leaves the base, he can catch you either with a sleeping gas or syringe. Bypassing the traditional 2-hit down process we usually see with killers, if a survivor is caught in the open, they get grabbed and put to sleep by the mask. The Psycho would have the ability to lunge forward and grab survivors who are fast vaulting or slow vaulting through windows or pallets. If a survivor is attacked while either vaulting a window or a pallet, they have a very difficult skill check interaction. For example, if the survivor attempts to vault, the Psycho can lunge forward and grab a part of them. The survivor can pass two very difficult skill checks to break free from the killer's grasp. If you do not, the Psycho will grab you, put you into a hookable state using the syringe, and automatically pick you up in the same animation. If you do pass the skill checks, you escape but are still suffering from the hindered status effect. I am on the fence if a survivor escapes should they receive the injured status effect or not, but that can be changed if needed. Regarding more so survivor gameplay, I say let the survivors interact with the sheds as well. A survivor would have the ability to go up to a control panel and gain knowledge by scanning through the cameras, looking for fellow survivors and where the killer might be since he's roaming around. I really would love to see both of these characters come into the game someday. My personal preference would be the Wendigo, but I can still see it being fun either way. Stalking survivors as the Wendigo, or making watching them as the Psycho would really add to that feeling of living in a horror movie. And who knows, we could even get a Wendigo Josh legendary skin down the line. And for survivors, there is certainly no shortage of options. There are about 8 characters you follow in the story. Some of them, like Emily or Chris, are very great options, but I would say the game really highlights 2 of the characters as your stars, the 2 being Sam and Mike. If Until Dawn were to come to Dead by Daylight, I would 100% see it being a double survivor chapter featuring these 2. From the beginning, we see Sam being a protective friend. I can see her having perks demonstrating her instinct to care for others like she did through the story. And of course, she would need to have a perk showing how well she works under pressure. I mean, how many characters survive their own bath scenes in horror movies? Getting caught in a bad position and managing to recover both by running and hiding seems like it could translate perfectly into Dead by Daylight. And of course, there is Mike. Out of all the characters we get to play as, Mike pretty much always gets his ass handed to him. He watched his girlfriend get snatched out of a window and possibly die, gets his fingers caught in a bear trap, randomly comes across a wolf, and let's not forget almost literally explodes. If this character is not the definition of survivor, I do not know who is. And of course, these two would have plenty of skin options. I mean, they each at least add 3 alternative outfits, and to top it off, we can get the other protagonists as legendary skins for them. So if you felt like playing like Sam this round, you can, or you could play as Mike, or you could play as Chris, or you could play as Emily. Plenty of options to choose from. And of course, for the map, we would have the Washington Lodge, but I wouldn't want it to feel similar to Mount Ormond too much, so I would say add a second layer for the mines. We don't really have many maps that have 2 different themes running at once, and I would love to see it, and it could be filled with so many good Easter eggs. So at the end of the day, Until Dawn is a huge license that Behaviour might be able to get their hands on. We certainly have a pretty big shortage when it comes to modern licenses in Dead by Daylight, and I think Until Dawn would be a really great choice to help fill that gap. If the day ever comes where Until Dawn comes to Dead by Daylight, I'll be extremely excited. There's definitely no shortage of video game licenses to choose from, but this is certainly one of my top picks. I wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone who has been watching and supporting the channel, or if you're just tuning in for the first time today. If you enjoyed, please do not forget to like and subscribe, and please let me know down below what your most wanted chapter for Dead by Daylight is. But for now, I will see you all next time.